So y'all remember this from a little bit ago?
They need to be fired.
I don't really think that we need to litigate this anymore. Don Sweeney and Cam Neely.
Yeah, completely disregard everything about that. Donnie, I could kiss you right now. Mwah! The Bruins made a trade while I was at the gym. This is my freaking post-workout smoothie. It was like right at the start of my workout, so it's not like I could go home in the middle of my workout and record this. No, I had to get through the entirety of my workout figuring out what I would say to this trade. In a 3-team trade between the Edmonton Oilers, New Jersey Devils, and the Boston Bruins, the Devils are really just there to make the money work in this one. The Bruins trade away Trent Frederic and Max Jones in return for a 2025 second-round pick, a 2026 fourth-round pick, and defensive prospect Max Warner. And all of Bruins Twitter is blowing up. And I can completely understand why. Trent Frederic meant a lot to this team, and especially to the fan base. To have another middle sixer who can put up decent numbers while also being someone who will grind you into the dirt, this is the type of player that this fan base will send heaven and earth for. No wonder why he was such a fan favorite. There are so many great moments from Frederic's career in Boston. Let's not forget, Frederic undeniably had a great career in Boston. One that was primarily defined by his interactions with other players. Two instances that come to mind immediately are him chirping the hell out of PK Subban.
Beat the living out of you.
Let's
when
go.
I'm ready.
Let's go when you're ready.
When I'm ready.
All right, do another post that workout video. I'm in your kitchen 7-6. Woo!
And the one-punch knockout against Lane Peterson.
Bergeron.
Two moments that undeniably are key to Trent Frederic's career and key to the Boston Bruins fan base in the past several years. We're not going to act as though Frederic having a down year in this year invalidates anything that he has done for this team. And for what it's worth, we've seen what is potentially him at his best. Last year, he had broken every single one of his career highs by the All-Star break. The dude was on an insane trajectory. So for the 6 years of fantastic, fun hockey that you've given us to watch, Frederic, my heart goes out to you. And I hope you have a fantastic time in Edmonton. I hope that team... Now, completely divorced from my feelings about Trent Frederic as a player. This is undeniably a Sweeney masterclass. Whether we want to admit it or not, Trent Frederic this year was struggling. He was playing some of his worst hockey I've ever seen him play, and I'm pretty sure that anybody has seen him play. He looked so out of sorts, and considering that, like I said, he broke all of his career highs last year by the time the All-Star break happened, it's such a disappointing fall-off for a player that we thought was on a great trajectory, and on top of that, is in a contract. And I think that is why he was traded. It doesn't necessarily take a Sweeneyist to make that distinction. Frederic, as much as we loved him, was playing badly. And so trading him to the highest bidder was exactly what we needed. And honestly, in return, we got a great haul. We offloaded a bottom 9 player who was having a very bad year, and one of the worst contracts that this team has signed in this past year in Max Jones, for a second, a fourth, and a defensive prospect. Speaking of which, let's actually talk about that defensive prospects. And unfortunately, we can't really have any conversation about Max Warner without first addressing the elephant in the room. The indefinite suspension that he faced from the WHL. On March 10th, 2023, the WHL formally suspended 4 players from the Moose Jaw Warriors. Connor Ungar, Lyndon Lakovich, Marek Howell, and Max Warner. Warner and his teammates were suspended for an off-ice incident that, after consideration, was deemed not criminal in nature, but a violation of team and league rules. And as a result, the WHL suspended Warner indefinitely, and he was never reinstated. And afterwards, the Edmonton Oilers decided to instead just send him to Bakersfield, instead of having him potentially never be reinstated in the WHL. Now, the details on this are almost deliberately vague, to the point where we legitimately have no idea what these 4 players did. And That is scary. That is scary. And I will not deny that bringing that baggage here is concerning. Especially because of this front office's track record of trying to take players that have screwed up in the past, to put it at the absolute mildest, trying to take those players and turn them into their reclamation projects. We saw it with Mitchell Miller, we saw it with Milan Lucic, and we might see it again here. However, since nothing came about from this, and because this information is only really being widely talked about now because Warner has yet to make an NHL appearance, and because he's being thrown into a decently big trade, we don't know what happened, we don't know what this entailed, and we don't know what came out of this. I think at this point, as much as it pains me to say it, and as much as I am very much side-eyeing the front office on this, I would give him the benefit of the doubt. It's taking everything in my power to not be pissed off about this. But right now, until we know the details of what happened, I am giving Warner the benefit of the doubt and heavily side-eyeing Neely and Sweeney. So yes, while I said that this was a Sweeney's masterclass, very much not necessarily getting all high marks on this one. Max Warner hasn't really done too much, and for what it's worth, he's not really having a great year in Bakersfield, along with the Condors, or in the AHL. But for a defenseman for a right-handed defenseman, he has decent defensive instincts. Warner, as a defenseman, is not necessarily a player that's going to get you 30 to 40 points a season. He's not really the most offensively minded defenseman in the league. And honestly, that's fine, because his defensive instincts aren't that bad. He's a decent puck hound, and he can be a pest in his own zone. But most importantly, he's a right-shot defenseman. And the Bruins are starved for that. Our best one right now is Charlie McAvoy, who got injured during Four Nations. And our second best one is Brandon Carlo, who might also be gone by Friday, because apparently the Bruins are in talks with the Calgary Flames for him. Man, making a trade with Edmonton and then making a trade with Calgary. I love selling arms to both sides of a proxy war to make a profit. But after Carlo, we have Peak and Osterley. Do you trust these two to anchor a defensive wall? I don't even know if I trust them to put their skates on properly. And so, again, not perfect, but this is a much better trade than what some people want it to be. And besides, because it's not in the first round, we know that this pick is going to be fine. Especially because it's a second round pick. So again, the Bruins traded away a very struggling bottom 9 physical forward who, you know, the fall off for those is always catastrophic, and one of their worst PTO contracts they've made in a while, for a second round pick, a fourth round pick, and a solid defensive prospect. And I'm happy with it, and I'll continue making videos throughout the trade deadline. I'm making sure that I get everything that the Bruins do. But for now, I'll see you guys back here after the Nashville game. Take care.